Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today for Thursdays with AARP Wisconsin. I am Amber Miller, the Associate State Director of AARP Wisconsin. Before we get to our guest today, just a friendly reminder that we have upcoming virtual events between now and the end of the year, which you can find at aarp.org/Wisconsin, and you can register online. And if you have any questions, there is a phone number to contact us. Also, make sure to check out our AARP Community Connections program. There's opportunities for you to volunteer within your local neighborhood, maybe to help a neighbor with grocery shopping or yard work, but there's also the AARP Friendly Voice program. This is free and open to all ages, and you could put a request in for one of our trained volunteers to call you. It could be weekly, daily, or monthly, and it's just to hear a friendly voice. And once again, there is no cost. You could be any age, and you do not need to be an AARP member for that service. So today we're going to be talking all about the AARP Community Challenge Grant Program, which is part of the nationwide AARP Livable Communities Initiative that ultimately helps communities become great places to live for their residents of all ages, whether you're 8 years old or 80 years old. And this program is intended to help communities make immediate improvements and jumpstart long-term progress in support of residents of all ages. And this year, with the Community Challenge Grant, there happened to be 4 winners from the state of Wisconsin. And today we're going to be talking to 2 of them. So first, I'd love to introduce Jennifer Johnson. She is the Executive Director of Wild Rivers Habitat for Humanity, and also one of our Community Challenge Grant winners. An amazing idea, and very excited to have you here today, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to be with you.
Absolutely. So you received a $10,000 grant through AARP to create a tool lending library, which might be a new idea that a lot of folks have not heard of. So can you tell us a little bit about this project and how the idea came about?
Absolutely. So in the communities that we serve, about 45% of the households struggle to afford basic necessities. In northern Wisconsin, the cost of living is higher than most wages pay. Many work hard, but they really can't afford housing, food, transportation, and healthcare. So housing instability, frequent moves, overcrowding, and the threat of foreclosure and eviction will create stress, depression, and hopelessness for far too many households. A decent roof over their head, however, establishes home as a place that protects instead of endangering. Habitat works with households to help them acquire the skills, the access, and the financial education necessary to be successful homeowners. And families seize that opportunity and possibility. And so through shelter, we empower. Community members have reported that the cost and access to tools often prohibit them from doing home repairs. For example, if your bathroom needs retiling, you really can't expect to reasonably do that job without a wet saw. But unless you have another bathroom to retile, that expensive tool is just going to gather dust in your garage once you finish the job. And our tool library, we're hoping that it will help make projects more affordable. Tool libraries offer a low or a no cost access to home tools. They reduce the cost related barrier to home improvements and maintenance, and they encourage community sharing. Tool libraries make it easier for homeowners with limited resources to maintain their homes, which also helps to provide housing security. And our library is going to be just like the regular library, except instead of books, we're going to have a collection of tools, gardening tools, woodworking tools, home repair tools, and more. It'll include a variety of power tools and hand tools for all types of home improvement projects, both inside and out. When households join the library, they can simply check them out whenever necessary. And the fun part is that community volunteers already play and perform a variety of parts of our home building and home repair program, and our library is going to be no different. Volunteers are going to assist library members with tool checkout and return, answer questions, as well as assist with skills labs, which are learning sessions on home repair projects and home maintenance. So for us, the tool library is a project that also empowers not only those that utilize the library, but the volunteers that will operate it. So it's a theory very similar to how Habitat homeowners build alongside community volunteers and building professionals on home projects. And then we hope to further build on the success of our tool library by ultimately expanding them to libraries in all of the communities that we serve.
Absolutely. And Jennifer, I know we were talking, joking around a little bit before the start of the program about how great this idea is, because there are a lot of homeowners that don't have the budget right away to do home repairs, and for them to have an opportunity to rent out a piece of equipment is huge. And I said, I only have a butter knife as a screwdriver, but I will work on that immediately. And then how, and I know you kind of talked a little bit about it. So this really creative idea, I think it's totally scalable. As you said, I think other communities definitely could mirror this program. So how do you feel like this will affect or kind of impact your local community?
Well, for us, we really think that it complements both our existing programs and certainly expands the range of people that we're able to help. Our new home building program are for families who need a little bit bigger hand up. Our home repair program have a little bit smaller scale project. And now this library will be for those who need help with less extensive projects, both materials or supplies, but as well as skills and education. And so we feel it's going to affect our local communities by further improving housing, accessibility, and affordability. But it goes back to empowering community members as well. Community members of all ages, whether it's young, just starting out, maybe it's those who are retired and this is the first time that they're faced with having to do a home repair alone. And so we feel it has a lot of possibility for empowering so many people.
Absolutely. And Jennifer, how did you guys hear about the AARP Community Challenge Grant?
We heard, believe it or not, we heard about it from AARP Wisconsin. And so we're on your mailing list, and we see wonderful information from you. And so we were really encouraged to share more about our project and apply.
Absolutely. And like, I said, I think a lot of people don't even realize that this could be an ideal about working with, your local community to ensure that everybody has access to, tools to ensure that they're making the proper updates on their home. If you have a question for Jennifer or our next guest, which is our Community Challenge Grant winners, please post them. If you're on Facebook, you could post them below. If you're on YouTube, please also post them. We will be taking them within the next few minutes. So Jennifer, if somebody or maybe another organization is watching this and thinking, wow, I have like a really great idea, I'm not really sure where to start with it, what advice would you give to a community member, for them to start moving forward maybe one of their ideas?
Oh, my advice is just keep telling your story. We're a small rural nonprofit operating in northern Wisconsin. Over the past 20 years, we've built 47 new homes. We've completed over 400 repair projects, and we've helped over 1,800 people obtain safer places to sleep at night. We were one of only 4 grantees in Wisconsin and one of 184 nationally. It's so incredibly validating to us to see that our work and our effort is being recognized on a national level. So my recommendation is keep telling your story, keep out there helping people and sharing the wonderful work you're doing.
And thank you for also, Jennifer, mentioning that there were 184 winners. There was definitely more applicants. The Community Challenge Grant actually started in about 2016, and every year we keep getting more and more applications nationwide. So if you are watching this, as Jennifer said, it might be a really good idea to go onto our website and join our mailing list, because then you will get the updated information about grants that might be coming along for 2021. So thank you so much, Jennifer. If you just want to hold in the back for just a few minutes, we're going to bring our next guest up, and then we'll come back together as a group. So our next guest, who I love and adore, is Mr. Deshea Agee, who is the Executive Director of the Martin Luther King Jr. Business Improvement District, also known as a BID, in the city of Milwaukee. I had pleasure of working with him in my past life, so very grateful that he's here today to talk a little bit about his project. So welcome, Deshea.
Thank you, Amber. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank
Glad to
you.
be here.
Thank you. So, Deshea, can you tell us a little bit about? So, of course, you're one of 4 winners. You actually received $40,000 for the improvements to promote cross-generational gathering in the Victory Over Violence Park. So, we might have some viewers who are not familiar with that area in Milwaukee. So, if you could tell us a little bit maybe about the area and then also a little bit about the project.
Absolutely. So our Dr. Martin Luther King Drive is about 4 miles here in the city of Milwaukee, adjacent to our downtown. Our business improvement district goes from McKinley Avenue to Capitol Drive. So it really abuts the central business district and encompasses the Harambe, Halyard Park, Brewers Hill, Haymarket Square neighborhoods, and also Brownsville Cultural and Entertainment District. So it is a place that really is part of our city that brings people together traditionally. Some businesses that have been there for 50 plus years, it's our main street as well here on King Drive. And so what we looked at was how do we make sure that we connect people, the buildings, and the public space all together. And this particular park that we were able to receive the grant for through AARP is called Victory Over Violence Park. It is a place where families have traditionally gone over the past 20 years when they were dealing with violence in the city of Milwaukee. And what we wanted to try to do was bring this back. There was some attention that had not been paid to the park. It's about an acre large. You just saw some before and afters, just the walking paths. You'll also see the vision of what the park full layout is. Here you see the walking paths that have changed from basically green, walking paths to pavers, land and stone walkways. Those are a couple of the elements that we are adding to the park now. Again, we want to make sure benches are there. It's well lit. It has trash receptacles for those who are in the area and, spending time in the park. Again, for those who are dealing with violence or those who are visiting the park for sitting at the game tables, intergenerational engagements. We anticipate a stage coming as a part of this grant. So we are working through that as well. As you can see, a lot of the elements there, you see native plantings, a botanical garden, shipping container, solar bollards. This park traditionally has been underdeveloped. So this boost from AARP is huge for us. It gives us the ability to make a green space, a public green space that is sorely needed in the neighborhood and allows us to have programming in the park now. We've been in a phased approach over the past 3.5 years with this park. It started as a group of community residents, organizations like Safe Zone Initiative, Milwaukee School of Engineering, one of the representatives of the family, Janetta Simpson Robinson's sons herself, Charles Robinson, came to the meetings and talked through how do we bring some life back to the park, not only to honor the memory of Janetta Simpson Robinson, who inspired this park. Her granddaughter was a victim of senseless violence here in Milwaukee. And so she came together with a number of residents over 20 years ago and said, let's take this park. You see some old pictures there, some railroad ties that have now been removed. We replaced that with landing stone walkways and funding that came in addition to AARP was from Greater Milwaukee Foundation, the Bader Philanthropies, Sweetwater Foundation, the City of Milwaukee have all been partners along with the Business Improvement District, adding its own funds to really, again, make this park a place that residents can come, anyone who is in the community or nearby the community, to come and really have a place to reflect on what's happening here in Milwaukee. And really, we want to be able to stem violence in Milwaukee, and this park is a place where some of that will happen.
Absolutely, and it's a beautiful park, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, Deshea, but could you go into more detail about how you feel that updating this park and bringing it back to life and more green space will, help the local community? And if you could talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So one of the things we have done at the park, just to kind of show where the history has been, you see a picture here where not everyone is able to make it out to the pumpkin farm. So we decided to bring the pumpkin farm to the people. This park has been a place where numerous events have happen, including this particular pumpkin patch where we purchased pumpkins from Pete's Fruit Market, which is one of our grocery stores in the neighborhood. And we see this park as a way to achieve some equity. There's some green space equity here in this particular instance. How does it help the community? It gives us a place to come and convene. It gives us a lot of the amenities that traditionally have not been a part of the neighborhood. The game tables, a nice stage. It'll be well lit. The benches, trash receptacles, furniture, but it really will be a place that people can convene, come together in an intergenerational way, people of all ages, ethnicities, socioeconomic backgrounds. And this has been missing in the neighborhood. We all can go to the businesses, but where is that place that we can call that green space, that public space that is a fun place, but also, again, with a lot of things happening here in Milwaukee relative to violence, we really need to have a place that people can come together and talk through some of the challenges. Some of the younger folks that may have issues with each other, we see programming where they can come and talk things out. So this park will serve several purposes for residents. Again, the kids being able to come and learn about STEM education, with the botanical gardens and the plants that are there, and also being able to have that programming to bring really people together with events that can take place on the stage or in the future at the shipping container.
Absolutely. And Deshea, it looks like we have a question from Jim. So what could be done in the park to make it feel inviting, safe, and fun for older folks as well as the younger residents?
Absolutely. As we are designing this park and under construction right now, we're making sure that it is ADA accessible. So those game tables will be ADA accessible game tables. The walking paths, we're making sure that the pitches are right, so that anyone who may be in a wheelchair can certainly make it through the park and throughout the park. So we definitely want to make it safe by adding more lighting. And there will also be ambassadors that are already a part of the bid that will be visiting the park. We've engaged, in addition to that, we've engaged with our Milwaukee Police Department just to visit the park a little bit more to make sure that it is safe. Again, really adding that lighting at night for the nighttime visits to the park is something that we are ensuring that occurs. And so we definitely want to have it to be a safe place for our older residents. But again, giving them the ability to have just a space like this in the community, events that may take place. Some of our residents in the area live in some of our senior communities in the area. So we're inviting them to ensure that they have a way to participate in the park. We're inviting them to have events at the park, as we are moving through the construction phase, bringing them out to the park, getting their feedback on ways that we can add additional elements to ensure their safety and that they also will be engaged with the park.
Great. And Deshea, if one of our viewers is wanting to come visit the park, do you have a cross street?
Sure.
Or an address?
It's 2615 North Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. So it's just off of Center Street. That's a more well-known street on King Drive. So it's just off of Center Street on King Drive. Again, 2615 North Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive.
Great. And Deshea, how did you hear about this community challenge grant through AARP?
Also, I heard about it through AARP Wisconsin, being on the mailing list, and also it was shared through our city of Milwaukee. So there were many people who were aware of the challenge grant, and we're fortunate enough and thankful that the contribution that came from AARP has helped fill a gap in us bringing this vision to life.
Great. And just one last question, Deshea. If one of our viewers is watching this and has a good idea, or maybe an organization of ways that they can impact their community, what advice would you give to them?
Be visionary. and we thought what really can have a huge impact in the community. And so with, again, Safe Zone Initiative, Milwaukee School of Engineering, Community Design Solutions, School of Architecture, the City of Milwaukee, Homegrown, so many of our other partners that came to the table, we just pushed forward. So I would encourage anyone to be visionary, connect with partners and make sure that you are talking through details, and don't think that your idea is too big. Have that vision and saying, I think this is important for our community. This is something that will be different. It'll be unique, and it will engage residents. It will engage everyone in this effort. And that's what we were able to do and continue to engage partners in this effort. So again, be visionary, think big, and push forward.
Great. Thank you so much, Deshea. We're going to bring Jennifer back, and then I have one final question for the both of you. And actually, Deshea, you really kind of hit on it, but I'll start with Jennifer. Jennifer, with this project that was funded by AARP, how important was it for like partnerships and collaboration to move this forward?
Oh, like anything that we do at Habitat, hugely important. This grant is allowing us to start the library and get it off the ground, and it'll continue to be added to over the years. Mm-hmm. And so our community partners have been huge in supporting it, and making sure that this program sticks around for a long time.
Great. And Deshea, same question for you. How important was the partnerships and collaboration to move forward, revamping the VOV park?
This was one of the biggest contributions to the park. So this grant for us was not only needed, it has been an amazing contribution to funding and also increasing the visibility of the park. Our mayor, our county executive, so many other partners have said, we see the AARP has contributed, what else may be needed for the park? So for us, it has been one of the biggest lifts in bringing visibility to the park. So we have been extremely grateful for the support from AARP as well as our other funded partners. But without this funding, we probably would still be working through, how do we get a stage built? How do we get lighting in the park? How do we make it safe? But with this grant, we know that there is the funding now for us to do those things.
Absolutely. And Jennifer, I will bring it back to you. Any final comments that you would like to share?
Oh gosh, we are just super thankful that AARP saw the benefit and the future of our project. It's allowing us to expand the mission of Habitat even further, and I think in today's day and age, that's so important to be able to reach community members in a variety of different ways. And so we're super thankful that they see the benefit of it, and everyone else does as well. And so we're really excited about moving the project forward.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. And same thing for you, Deshea. Any final comments?
Thank you, AARP, all those who participated in choosing this park as one of the challenge grant winners. I understand that, AARP has granted in Wisconsin, so we are super thankful to have received $40,000 for this park. We anticipate it being a multi-phase project. Without this grant, we again would be still trying to figure things out, but we are extremely excited that AARP selected us and gave us an opportunity to bring a vision to the community that would otherwise still just be a thought.
Great. Well, thank you guys both. And once again, if you're watching us, we're talking to 2 of the 4 Wisconsin AARP Community Challenge winners, and between Deshea and also Jennifer combined, that was $50,000 grant, but between both of them, that is equity putting back into our community. And both of them just had really great ideas. We'll be interviewing our remaining 2 other winners in a few weeks, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you are watching this video, of course, please feel free to share this on your your page. Otherwise, you can make comments below. And join us next Thursday while we talk to our AARP Wisconsin advocacy team, and they'll be talking about some updates that definitely will be of interest. And then also a friendly reminder that our last cycle of funding for 2020 for the Small Dollar Big Impact Grant will be due on October 19th. You can find all the information at the AARP Wisconsin page. It's a very short application, so if you have a really great idea that needs up to $1,000 worth of funding, please consider submitting your application. And thank you again so much for joining us today, Deshea and Jennifer. What you guys do within the local community is just amazing, and we're very excited that you were 2 of the 4 winners through the state of Wisconsin. So thank you again for joining us today. Be safe.